It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. Some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. Every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, I just figured out something today. Someone says, sometimes I hear you talking. And I was like, where? Where are you listening? And after all this time, I have finally figured out what's going on. Okay. I don't know how that got muted just now. Oh boy. I was just saying, every day we are learning. That's what life is about. If you're not willing to learn, you're going to stay stuck in God knows what, believing that people are dying because expats are killing us off. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with you people? Oh my goodness. So silly. You know what is so crazy? So I shared a clip of yesterday's show because I thought it was so interesting that, we're still piping misinformation out there. And it was like literally on the heel of us talking about World Obesity Day, which is today. Today's the day. Yeah. World Obesity Day. Welcome. Happy World Obesity Day to everybody, but in particular, those of us who are in that. And that's including myself. I am not excluding myself because I'm in that category. Those of us who are in the 70% of Caymanians that are obese and carrying excess weight. Welcome to the club. And it's not a club that we should be proud of being in. It's a club that we need to do better with, honey child. But I do find it interesting, that people still are trying to talk about everything else that's potentially killing us, but what's actually killing us. To me, that's just weird. So, of course, some people are just latching on to the bit about the vaccine because, I guess when you're an anti-vaxxer, all you need to do is hear the word vaccine and you're in a spin like, oh, we got to defend our position. But if you listen closely to what was being said, it was all nonsense. So it wasn't just about the vaccine, but she was pulling at all kind of straws about what's actually killing us. Go listen to the video if you don't have any clue what I'm talking about. So there's a audio note circulating that just doesn't make any logical sense. Oh, Caymanians are the only ones dying. Well, maybe that should tell you something about our lifestyle if you really believe that. I'm gonna play it again because I know some of you are royally confused. You're like, what? Well, what's going on, Auntie? Huh? What happened? So this is what people are pumping out there, pumping, whichever one, into the community, and some of you are here for it.
Well, I can say it again. Nobody don't want to answer the question. I don't want to say nothing about it. Why you all keeping so quiet? Say something. Why are all these Caymanians dying? There's no expats that's dying like this often. It has to do with the vaccine or something else, or something that the hospitals are not doing right. I don't know, all these nationalities that in these hospitals taking care of people, half of them don't even have certificates. They need to look into this. This is serious now. I know somebody's dying from old age, but this heart problem every minute, the young, the old getting heart problem. They got heart problem. They got heart this, the heart that. Somebody need to speak up about it. And
Yeah, so a couple things here. Number one, hospitals are supposedly killing you off. Half the people in hospitals are not qualified. They don't have a certificate. That's actually false. Nothing could be further from the truth. And they are, most of the hospitals here now have let me tell you what the qualification is called, just so that we are on the right page. They have the JCI accreditation, and they actually need to ensure that their mortality rates are aligned with global standards. What benefit would it be to kill off your patients? That's ridiculous. And they also have to check and verify. That's how we caught the few that were trying to scrape by without qualifications, the nurses. They have to verify the qualifications and credentials of their staff. So to say half of them are not qualified and don't have a piece of paper is a ridiculous statement. And so I can't really, my apologies, my throat. I can't really, allow and nonsensical statement like this to be put out in the community and not address it. It's ridiculous. What are y'all talking about? Right? Seriously. Half of the people, supposedly, are being in hospitals are not qualified. So first we go from, oh, it's the vaccine. Now here's the funny thing. The vast majority of Caymanians, and I don't have an exact number, but I know one thing for sure, it wasn't mandatory for Caymanians to take it. It was mandatory for work permit holders to take it. So if it was a vaccine issue, the people that we should see dying should be our own people. I mean, my apologies, the expat community, because they were forced to take it to even get a work permit approved to be here. So pick sense from nonsense. There really is something to be said for picking sense from nonsense. And she's all over the map. It's the vaccine. It's non-qualified expats, because apparently non-qualified Caymanians can kill you. That would be okay. All these people are killing us, and the hospitals are to blame. What are they doing? I just can't even fathom on a good day what the heck y'all are talking about. What goes through your brain? Because it legit doesn't make any sense. What I do know is that, unfortunately, there'll be people who, again, are singular minded, and now they're going to be like, oh yeah, it must be the vaccine. Okay. When in truth, what is killing you more than anything else is your lifestyle. So she admits that a lot of us are dying from heart issues. Duh. I mean, hi, Sherlock. Good morning. How are you? Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. We are dying from heart problems. And you know what is causing heart problems? Our lifestyle. Why wasn't that addressed? Let's keep listening.
They said they need to have a clinic in every community checking the people's hearts.
Okay, so my God, how many times do we have to have Health City on here talking about executive health checks? All of the hospitals do it. HSA, Doctors Hospital. I guess they all have something or another that you can jump onto. I just know that Health City has it because they're constantly on here promoting it and giving you specials, telling you go in, know your numbers, right? Have your blood pressure checked, have all these things checked. No one really should have an excuse as to why you do not know your baseline numbers. It's as simple as that. Figure it out. There's no conspiracy to kill off Caymanians. And what it is, and this is really sad, quite frankly, because again, this is just giving people an excuse to sit down and do nothing. And that's where, I know we're lazy. I know we're eating all the wrong foods. When you see a plate of Caymanian food, you don't see any vegetables on there. You're lucky if you see a little piece of lettuce and tomato, right? We're starch eaters. We love our potatoes, our pasta, our rice and beans, white rice, every single meal we have. And I know y'all love to talk about fast food, but stick a pin. Because if you think cooking at home is any better, not the way that you guys are cooking your food, not what's on your plate. Every single meal, Caymanians can't eat nothing without rice, right? We got to have all the meats, all the rice, potato salad. Take anybody on a Sunday, and I challenge you to see what they're cooking. And if they have one little scoop of vegetables, boy, you lucky, because that's not going to be the case. That is what y'all need to be talking about. Talk something with sense. And I'm just saying, we're all in the same boat. I'm the exact same way. And it's a product of how we have grown up eating the foods that we're accustomed to. So we need to rewire our brains in terms of what we're going to eat, the lack of exercise, the sedentary lifestyle. That is what is killing our people. And the thing about it is, I don't personally want to sit here and talk about the Caymanians that are currently have more recently passed away. However, because that's what she's referring to, because we had Joey, passed away last week, and Austin's brother, but every single one of them, I could look at them just looking. I don't need to see no health records and say, this person wasn't healthy. You're lucky the heart lasted that long. When you're carrying 200-300 pounds in excess weight, plus you're a smoker, which clogs up your arteries, right? Health signs were there long before. Swollen ankles that are discolored, diabetes, high blood pressure. Some of these people are taking all tons of medication for years. You're not having apparently healthy people just up and drop down dead. No, these are people who have had a long history of health struggles. And like I said, I don't really want to get into their business, but because this has become a conversation of apparently only Caymanians are dying, which actually isn't true. Other people dying too, but we are dying at an alarmingly higher rate. I, again, can't necessarily fact check that. I would have to ask the hospital or the funeral homes to really even make that a premise for a comment. But if we are, there's some logical reasons why. Number one, we account for the majority of the population. So just a numbers game. Number two, it might appear that way because most of the people when they die, well, that they're dead. If a Filipino worker drops down dead here today, you don't know anything about it. You probably don't even care, right? Unless you're connected to these people in some way, you're not sitting here going, oh, wow, last week in the Filipino community, this one had a heart attack, this one died, this one did no. Or any other community. So it's also like it's the size of our community where we know everybody. And some of these people are a little bit more high profile in terms of their, standing in the community. So I've just gotten one of my sources who's very familiar with the number of people that are dying. They actually said the Caymanian deaths are proportionate. So it's not it's not that there's more of us dying, like 80% of people who are dying are Caymanians. This was like, no, it's a proportionate number. Caymanians dying, expats dying, everybody's dying, because that's the only one thing we know for sure. Once you make it in this world, you got to exit. There's some exit plan at some point. Some make it a little bit longer than others. It's just that when people say this in a group with hundreds of people, and some of them are just sitting there looking for, something to criticize. Oh, the government isn't doing enough. We need a health clinic in every single community. Why? Because you can't get up, get a bus, or drive to the one that's just a couple miles up the street. I live in Lower Valley. I got Boddentown Clinic right there. And what are you going in there to say? Check my heart. They got to look at you and say, right, when was the last time you did an executive health check? When have you had your numbers? Let me talk to Caymanians this morning. How many of you know your blood pressure readings? Because apparently, based on the STEP survey, especially men, y'all need to pay attention now. Most of you are walking around with uncontrollable blood pressure and you don't even know it. You're not checking it at home. You don't know it. You're not on medication. And that will kill you. Because uncontrolled blood pressure, strokes, heart attacks, that's what's going to take you out. So let's talk about it. Why are Caymanians so lazy with their health? And we refuse. Even if you're skinny, a lot of you are skinny, what we call fat skinny. You're skinny and you're still unhealthy. We're not walking. We're not exercising. All I need to do is tell you to look at the leadership of this country as a primary example because, the leaders say a lot about us. The vast majority of them, and I do mean probably 90% of the leaders in this country, they are representative of who we are in terms of their health. Vast majority of them are carrying too much weight. They're overweight. They're not healthy. They can't get it under control, not losing any weight, not walking. They're stressed out because don't forget now, stress, lack of sleep, all of those things contribute to your heart health as well. Good morning, caller. Hello? Uh-oh.
Good morning.
Oh, hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
I'm listening to this morning show, and it is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very much interesting. Talking from experience is different from talking from non-experience.
Mm-hmm.
But what I listened to that young lady, the concept of what she's trying to say, I believe, you don't understand what killing persons. You have it right there. Persons do not take care of their health in no way. Most persons. Your intake is what give you life. Your intake is what give you death. Your intake is what give you sickness.
Mm-hmm.
A proper intake will have from your brain to your feet healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Ask most persons today, whether they are Caymanians, Jamaicans, wherever they want to come from. Most persons from their lead under their parents' covenant, they don't know what it is to deworm, flush, cleanse.
Well, let me say this, caller, because I know a lot of people into this whole detoxing thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like the concept that you can outrun a bad diet. You cannot outrun a bad diet. You cannot detox a bad diet. So it starts with what we put in our mouths. And if we have to be honest, Caribbean people on a whole, and I'm going to include all Caribbean islands, Caymanians, Jamaicans, Trinidad, all of us, we're just not healthy eaters.
Not healthy eaters. And
like
that's the
I
bottom line.
said, look at the average Caymanian meal, a plate of food. And I know this myself because I sit down and I will eat a plate. Caymanians not into salads. When you go to a restaurant, you'd be like, oh, you want to try a salad? What? You want me to try a salad? No. They want some with rice. They'll do chicken. They'll do beef. They'll do pork.
Yeah.
But every meal has to have rice. So if you're eating 3 meals a day and every meal is loaded with rice or potatoes, sometimes we have more carbs than meat or anything else in our menu. We got rice, we got potatoes, like in a form of like potato salad, mashed potatoes, something. And the quantities that we're eating is also incredibly ridiculous. And then we cook with a lot of salt because, we can't eat bland food. We're like, well, we gotta have seasoning. And for us, seasoning is largely salt. A lot of meat's already salted, and then we add salt on top of it. Right? We put on a little bit of pepper, a little bit of hot pepper. Caymanians love ketchup. Do you know ketchup is one of the is the single worst condiment because it is loaded with sugar? So we sit down, we eat carbs, and then we got throw a bunch of ketchup on it.
And even the Irish potato that they love, the potato salad, is one of the worst things to your system.
Mm-hmm.
I did a research on it, yes. Because it do not come, it don't leave your system right away. No. If you eat the sweet, what you get from the sweet potato, you don't get it from the Irish potato. And these red beans and everything, that's protein. And if your body have protein from everything you're taking, and your body itself is protein on top of protein. And anything is too much in your system, That's what deteriorates the system.
Mm-hmm. Leave me there, my
And I am
dear.
talking.
I want some doctors to call in this morning because they're the ones who are on the front line of this and tell me what they are seeing in terms of people walking into their office. Is it the COVID vaccine that's killing people? A lot of people didn't even have the vaccine and they're still dying.
No. It's not this vaccine killing people. It is not the vaccine, people. A lot of persons have underlying issues. And the underlying issues is invisible. It's not visible.
Well, a lot of times it's visible in our size and our gut circumference, and we are still comfortably
they don't
ignoring
understand their body. And their body talking to them, but they don't understand.
Yeah.
From a doctor perspective, I have experience with doctors. I can talk of my experience. I cannot talk about other people's experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to talk it
Yeah.
on the ear because it's a lot that I have contained with, and it damaged me.
Mm.
When you go to HSA, I'm not going to talk about every doctor. I am talking about doctors that I experienced. They're asking you what you want to take today. What is your situation? And you see they go on the computer. I have experiences. I can call names, but I'm going to write it in letter. And I went in there 2022, and I have rheumatoid arthritis, and it was something.
Let me stop you there. Because I do have a very finite, I have to end on time today, right? So I know that you want to get your story out. We're going to do a show specific to your story, but I want to keep it general here and not get too deep into your story so that when you come on, you're not rehashing it.
I don't want to get deep.
Yeah. So when you come on, you'll have your time to definitely break down your story for us.
I'm going to send you a photo now.
We definitely want to hear that story for sure.
All right. I'm going to send you a photo now.
Thank you so much.
8 months.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
So, again, we all need a dose of the cold hard truth, a reality check, because the truth of the matter is we are lying to ourselves about how healthy or not we are. Yes, there's silent killers. Blood pressure is a silent killer. But most people who have blood pressure issues, you can look at them and probably guess that something's going on. It's not that, it's not that that difficult, right? Let's be very, very honest. Sorry, I'm just sending our staff a message here and a story they need to put up. So let's look at the stats in terms of the deaths here in the Cayman Islands. Thank you so much to someone who sent this in. This is a death rate comparison by location. And you can see that, funny enough, the Caymanian death rate is actually, hold on one second. The Caymanian death rate is actually quite a bit lower at 4.8 to 4.9 deaths per thousand. So we're actually even below the region average. We're definitely way below the UK, way below by about half the United States, Canada. So the irony in all of this is that you could actually easily argue that we're healthier in some respects than these other countries, but it's not that. Don't take that away from it, because that's not what's happening here. What you have is the crime rate in those other countries probably significantly contributing to this. So in other words, what's killing them isn't just the health and the lifestyle, right? It is also their murder rates and so on, which for us because in the US at about 9 per 1,000, that's almost double the rate of Cayman. UK, same thing, 10 per 1,000, partly due to much older population structure. So you need to look at why. You do need to look at the why here. But this is pulled from the UN population and World Bank data and statistics. So one of the things that they're saying here why Cayman's rate is actually lower is we tend to have a younger population, working age residents. So this is including the expat population, fewer elderly people. Well, not if you pull out just the Caymanian population. However, we're not talking about just the Caymanian population. They'd be talking about deaths reported for the entire Cayman Islands. Now, here's what AI has to say, which I have to chuckle and laugh at. Not 3. Hold on. What it actually says here as number 2, why Cayman's rate is lower, a healthy migrant workforce. Most expatriates, it says, move to Cayman specifically for work, and working age populations tend to have lower mortality. Notice what it says. It doesn't say Caymanians are healthier. It says that our numbers are maintained lower per capita because of a healthy migrant workforce, which makes sense because we require some degree of testing, not as much as we should. This is an area that I'm advocating for change, where workers come here and they have to do, the basics. But guess what? I know for a fact, and we as a country should know for a fact, that we do have some people who come here who have health issues, and they are trying to covertly get here in order to get the medical coverage. In other words, they know they have cancer. Happens all the time. You got someone in Jamaica who knows that they've been now diagnosed with cancer. And so they want to come to Cayman. They just want someone to take out a work permit for them so that they can get insurance to come here for treatment, because unfortunately, they're not going to have access to treatment in their own country at a relatively low cost. The cancer, you can speak to any of the organizations, any of the NPOs that do vouchers and that sort of thing, and they will tell you that they're aware of the issue. Some of the Cuban migrants have a listen to this hot mess. Some of the Cuban migrants are actually coming here to get medical treatment. We had 8 in this last batch. Of the 8, 7 had previously been to Cayman before. The batch before that, there was a guy on there who my sources reveal had shared when he got off the boat that he had been to Cayman. I think this was his 3rd journey. And he comes here not necessarily because he has high hopes of getting to the US, but because when he comes here, he is able to get medical treatment. One of the first things they're going to do is give them a physical checkup. He's going to go to the doctor. And if he's sick, got a toothache, need antibiotics, whatever, they are going to ensure that he gets that treatment. In Cuba, sorry for you, but nobody not taking him to the doctor to make sure that he gets any kind of treatment. But having said that, I'm not saying that that's a vast majority of people. I think it's happening with a greater degree of frequency. And it's something that government needs to consider, how to curtail it. But I do know for a fact that probably the vast majority of the expat population is a little bit healthier because, they're just here to work. So from that perspective, they tend to be younger, of working age. They're not going to be like retirees and stuff like that, right? Except civil servants, because I'm going to tell you, once you're an expat and you work for government in the civil service, then you're obviously on contract that keeps getting renewed, regardless of your health or your age or anything like that. Private sector, I think, takes a very different position. So let's deal with factual information. If we want to come to certain conclusions about what's happening in this country, I think there's adequate information out there. Start with reading that STEP survey, which government has put a lot of effort into actually conducting. These are the these are the these are the facts that we're dealing with. So this person says detox is the last of it. What is the point of detoxing a cesspool that is still in use? I have to give that statement a kaboom. That sums it up, honey chow. High fructose corn syrup, skinny obese. Yep. And the other thing, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The other thing with Caymanians is Caymanians love to smoke and drink. Now, I'm not saying the expats not smoking and drinking, because God knows some of them on a permanent party. However, I do know that we have a portion of Caymanians that spend an exorbitant amount of their time at bars, sitting out at home drinking and smoking. So again, if I think about the people who died recently that's making sherry, I'm so concerned about why people are having health issues. Why are they having heart failure? Some of those people would have been smoking probably 3-4 packs of cigarettes a day. I'm not asking you. They were ferocious smokers. That's all they did was smoke. Every 10 minutes, they were smoking and vaping. Okay? Some of them had past issues with drugs. You don't think that takes a toll on your heart? Cocaine use? Marijuana use? What's the other drug of choice? Alcohol use? Y'all need to go look up what alcohol actually does to your body. You would not even casually drink alcohol if you knew the truth. It is literally a poison to your system. And I'm not saying this because I don't drink, because I know what y'all thinking. Well, Sandy, I gotta worry about nothing because she don't drink. It's not about me. I mean, trust me, right? I get it. Every single event, social event, birthday parties, this, that, y'all be looking for an excuse to drink. I have sat down to lunches with Caymanians. I'm not calling any names, but I'm just saying. And they will sit down and not have one glass of wine, but we'll have like 4 or 5 glasses. And it's nothing to them. Like, it doesn't even faze them. They're not tipsy. They're not drunk. They're not nothing, because their body is so used to the alcohol consumption. Now you're poisoning yourself with something that is like a known poison. What a point. What is literally the point? So own it. If we're going to be this incredibly unhealthy, community and country, yeah? Don't put it on anybody else. Let's just own it. We're choosing to be unhealthy. We're doing all the wrong things. Yes, I guess that's a choice. Everything's a choice. But don't try to blame the government. Don't try to blame a vaccine. Don't try to blame expats for killing us off. Don't blame anybody else except ourselves. Take ownership of it. That's the point of this whole conversation. I'm not trying to make y'all okay. I'm not trying to make y'all feel any particular way. I'm just saying, own it. No one has ever had to tell me, not even physicians, yeah, you're obese and you need to get a coach. They tell it to me, but I'm like, I know. I'm not disillusioned about what's going on here. I've been fit. I was a person going to squash every single morning, working out, whatever. But listen, I have always loved food, right? I have always been a foodie. Well, maybe not so much as a kid, but definitely as an adult. My aunt was forced me to eat everything on your plate. Why do we even tell children that? Right? We need to do what the Japanese do. They have a method. I forget what it's called in Japan or Japanese. They eat to 80% and then they stop. They don't eat till they're stuffed. Then we sit down at the table and we go sit in front of the TV. We're not moving. We're not doing anything. I have happily and unhappily, because it's not something you should be proud of, owned my own obesity over the years. I remember when I wasn't this size and I was working out and I was walking and yeah. So I get it. We have every excuse in the book. We're busy, we're working with it, and none of that not gonna matter when your little tickety tick heart go plump, and that's it. But don't lie to yourselves. Stop lying. This is where I have an issue. Do not lie to yourself. If you want to be in these groups, the voice of reason, Sherry Ann, that's fine. Be the voice of reason, but make sure if you're the voice of reason that you're actually talking some kind of sense. That's why I'm not trying to insult my cousin, but literally when I first heard her voice note, it occurred to me around 11. Right. Oh, my apologies. Good morning, caller. Give me 1 second here. Let me just adjust it so everybody can hear you. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Not too bad. I can barely hear you though. Hello? I'm trying to figure out why I can barely hear you. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure now all these buttons are turned up. No, because I should be able to hear you on WhatsApp. Give me 1 second. Let me just double check some of my adjustments here. Something is a bit off. Why I can't hear you. 1 second for me. Audio. Hi, caller. Hello? No, that's not any better. Okay. So it's not that one. Hold on. Let me check one more thing here. Hello, caller? Nope, that's not it. Uh-oh. Huh. Some setting has changed. I'm trying to figure it out while we're talking. Give me a second here. Let me see here. There's only so many things that could have changed, I think. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, right. All right, hold on. Let me just check my volume mixer. Aha, I think I see what it is. Yes, try it now. No. Huh. What's up calling? Hold on. What's up? How about now? Hello? No. Oh my goodness. Can you do me a favor? Call the other. Let me see here now. Maybe call. Oh, I think I got it. Hold on. Hello? No. Shoot. Hello? Nope. Hello? Output device, input device. Hold on. Let me reverse these two. Yes. Hello? Oh, man. Nope. That's not it. Do me a favor. Call the show number 936-2626. I think we'll have better luck with that one. Because you're actually calling me on my personal number. So call that one. I think we should be able to get you sorted out. Yeah, I don't know what's changed. Oh boy. I'll have to fiddle with it and see what's going on. That's a mystery now that I feel like I need to solve. Okay. Yeah, call the other number because then we can pick you up through the phone. We have a few comments coming in. Let me see. Let's see here. Okay. Just trying to read some of these messages. Okay, here we go. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy.
Hey, yes, we can certainly hear you here.
Better, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard everything you were saying, and the topic is a very interesting topic. But it's one thing I just need. I know you know, but it's one thing I need to remind everybody is that there in this life and this world, there is no two persons alike. Absolutely. It's totally different for everybody. Those that drink, those that smoke, those that eat, those that are fat, those that are skinny, it is absolutely unique. Every single one of us is made different. So
I'm going to challenge you on this, though.
When you look at it in that context, you really can't say, well, don't do this and don't do that and don't do that and do that, because one might be wrong for someone, might be right for another person.
No. Let me tell you something now. This is where I'm actually going to challenge you, because we have the data that simply doesn't agree with that. So we have data-driven decisions. So I know, and I think this is another way in which we lie to ourselves, right? Because we can all think of that one uncle or grandfather who did everything wrong. He was a smoker. He smoked his cigarette or his, what the other one's called, cigar. He drank until whatever hours of the night every single day, and he lived to be 100. We all have that one anomaly story. But this is why when we sit down and question, so I appreciate Sherry Ann questioning it, because I think it gives us an opportunity to have this discussion. All Caymanians are dying. Why do you think somebody would even believe or think that? Because we know what kills us. That's why, bless their little hearts, Health Cities hits her every single day. You notice every time they come on, they harp on the same things about lifestyle changes, whether they're talking about stroke risk, heart attack risk, cancer risk, all of these things that kill you, right? The medical professionals know what is killing us. And it is largely our lifestyle. So just because you have an anomaly out there, someone who can do all the wrong things and still not die at a younger age, that is not the majority of people. We need to talk about what the science says. We know what the science is saying about our bodies. We know a sedentary lifestyle is killing us. We know smoking is killing us. We know drinking is killing us. And we know that our diets are killing us.
Let me tell you something about what happened to one of my friends, and this is facts.
But what I'm telling you is your friend might be an anomaly. You can't advise people based on an anomaly.
Listen to this. Listen to this. This friend of mine got vaccinated for COVID. Okay?
Yeah.
He goes home feeling safe and fine. Weeks later, his left arm started to swell up. And he didn't pay it any mind. He figured it would go down. And he's the type of person that he rarely even go doctor, but he just overlooked it and keep on overlooking it. Till one time he got fed up, it wouldn't go down. You know what he did, Sandra? This might sound weird, but you know what he did? He took a pin and stuck it in his arm, thinking that would let out whatever is causing it to swell. And you know what came out of that? Something like toothpaste. Like how you squeeze a tube of toothpaste and the toothpaste would come out of the tube. That's what came out of his left arm. No, that left me thinking, what could that have been in his left arm that caused the arm to swell and and now it's coming out like toothpaste.
So
Something
what?
like
Well, if he had gone to the doctor like most sensible people, I'm just saying your friend, not too sensible, pricking himself, the doctor would have been able to tell him what that was.
Sometimes they don't. They contribute to your debt sometimes, Sandy. You need to understand that this is a business. This is how businesses work.
Doctors don't make money off of dead people, you know.
He will fix one thing and hurt another thing
Yeah,
to get people back.
but hear me now. Doctors do not make money off of dead people. The funeral homes now they're the ones making the money.
Alive, keep sucking the money from you, and then when they get enough from you, they take you out. Some of them, not all of them. You need to understand this.
Oh my gosh!
This is a business thing we're talking about.
Yes, well, I agree with that. But here's the problem, right?
Let me tell you another killer word. Most common, stress.
Well, that we can agree on for sure.
And what caused the most stress actually right now in this present time is the damn traffic that we have here.
Well, from most,
I'm gonna leave it like that.
Thank you, honey.
That could go on forever.
I appreciate it. Well, I think if
like
we
to tell it like it is, that's me. I like
yeah,
to tell it like
absolutely.
Don't listen.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I think that what's causing most of us stress would be probably personal relationships and finances, the cost of living, that sort of thing. Traffic, maybe a minor amount of stress, but so listen, someone who's listening to the program says what every Caymanian needs to do basically is sit in on autopsies. Look inside your bodies and see what is actually happening. Like when they do an autopsy at the hospitals and stuff like that, they know what's killing you. Your arteries are all clogged up from years of eating the worst kind of foods in the world. So again, let's talk about what's actually killing people. If you have a listen, if you have some sort of foreign object in your body and you're concerned about what that is, I wouldn't recommend taking a needle and pricking it and then never knowing what substance is coming out of it and be suspicious. It sounds like it was probably just an abscess. You do get, if you ever watch Pimple Popper, you know what happens underneath the skin all the time.
Exactly.
Hello, caller. Oh, morning, caller.
Morning.
All they gotta do is sit down and watch Dr. Pimple Popper, and you'll know. You got all kind of stuff that happens underneath the skin, and I don't recommend sometimes trying to pop it yourself because that's not a good idea. It's full of bacteria, and all you're doing is spreading the bacteria. And that stuff be oozing and looking nasty. It looks worse than toothpaste. If his only look like toothpaste, he doing good.
That's right.
What do you make of all this?
Sunday, if it's one morning that I agree with you this morning. Because a lot of people here do not take care of themselves. They don't do their parasite. They don't do their colon cleansers. Listen, you know what I always tell people? You take a plate and you eat out of that for 2 weeks without washing it.
Yeah.
How do you think that plate is going to look? You eat out of that plate for 2 weeks without washing it. That is exactly how your intestines are. If you don't cleanse your intestines, all of that stuff build up, and build up. You have to cleanse your intestines and clean your colon. Anyway, what the man was saying about, listen, I took every one of the COVID vaccine, and I'm going to say it this morning. I am 61. Nobody never ever thinks that I am 61.
I was just about to say, I didn't know that.
I am 61 gone. And I am proud to say that because how I know how I look and how I feel. To God be the glory. His grace forever upon me. And let me tell you what that man say about taking the vaccine and what came out of it. You know what? That's because he left it so long and all of that gritting built up in it and it got hard. Exactly what you say about the pimple popper when they
cysts are very, very common. I mean,
come out looking like cottage cheese.
Yeah, exactly. And cysts are extremely common when people get them all the time. I said, I don't recommend trying to do it yourself, but.
Right. Exactly. And some people don't, they need to take care of themselves because, like what you say, if you go out there, I used to smoke, Sandra, and I'm not going to tell no lie, but when I realized years ago, I stopped, and the drinking, I stopped everything. I don't smoke and I don't drink either anymore, but I can admit to my wrongs. You know, a friend, quickly, I'm going to tell you something that a friend told me the other day. I'm going to cut it short. He used to go to, he was a police officer, and he used to go, he had, part of his job was to go when someone died to witness their postmortem with the doctor.
Yes.
And he said this particular man, the doctor, when the doctor cut him open, his whole inside was black. He said, Miss O'Meara, when I say black, his inside was black. So he said, he asked the gentleman, he said, you could hardly tell if you didn't know the organs, you know.
Yeah.
If the doctor didn't know the organs, he said
God.
his inside was
from
so
years
black.
of smoking.
Exactly. He said the doctor tell him, you see that? He was a smoker, a hard smoker. This is from years of smoking.
Yep.
He said about 2 weeks after, they had a teenage boy, like a 12-year-old. And he said when the doctor cut him, inside of him was clear. He said the doctor reminded him and said, you see that? You see the difference? This person, this child never started to smoke. And he said the doctor told him that secondhand smoke is just as bad.
Of course. You know, there's even a type called third-hand smoke.
Yeah.
Which is when you, because a lot of people be like, oh, well, I don't smoke around my children, but it's still in your clothing. It's in the furniture. It seeps into everything. And so even that has a negative impact on people around you, including especially small children and people with asthma and other things. All of that is still in the environment.
I didn't know how stink cigarettes were, cigars. I didn't know how stink they were until I stopped smoking. Let me tell you, that is the stinkiest and the most nastiest smelling thing on a person. So the gentleman said to me, he said, Miss O'Meara, he said, even if I wanted to try smoking, he said, I said to myself after seeing that, he said, seeing that man inside, he said how black that was, and that was caused from smoking. He said, no, never would he put a cigarette. He said he don't even want to go around people that smoke after what the doctor told him. I just wanted to make that clear and to make it clear to everybody that the people that are dying, it's not Sherry-Ann keep blaming. Honestly, me and her always hook up for it because she know my stand, and I told her I took every one of the vaccines, and I would have taken.
It's an easy cop out, you know.
Come in.
Yeah, it's just an easy cop out to blame the vaccine, but the truth of the matter is the vaccine saved millions of lives, including people right here in Cayman, because we had so many people with comorbidities.
I never caught the COVID. Not a soul in my household.
And even the vaccine wasn't to prevent you from catching it, because even if you caught it, it was you trying to survive it that was critical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you still caught it, but I caught it and I survived it. And I knew that I was someone who would have been, because again of the obesity and high blood pressure, all of those things, which we thought were minor things with COVID, that was, I don't want to quite say a death sentence, but it puts you that much closer to death, because the way that vaccine operated with people with comorbidities, even perfectly healthy people. We had quite a few stories, well, a handful, I would say, of stories of people who were fitness experts who went out there and purposely caught COVID, and then it killed them because they thought COVID was something to play around with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you,
But
caller.
I can tell you one thing. High blood pressure and diabetes is a silent killer. I have witnessed it. And if you don't take care of yourself and if you don't treat it properly, you cannot survive it. It will.
Yeah.
It will. When I say it will creep up on you, it is best you go and get yourself checked and make sure, because I have seen it happen to a loved one of mine.
Yeah.
Going perfect, going good. And when that sugar hit, that it had already destroyed your kidneys and whatever, it is a silent killer.
Yeah.
It don't make you feel sick or anything, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, Asanda, I'm going to leave you there.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful and a blessed day.
Thank you, my dear.
And the rest of the man.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I mean, like I said, you can, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? But you can't deny the facts. And to that caller's point, we can go and look and see. And, when COVID came out, there was a lot that was still unknown about the disease. But here is what she's talking about: a healthy lung of a non-smoker versus that of a smoker. And this is the same thing with vaping. Y'all are out here acting like vaping is the thing to do, and you're replacing vaping with smoking. Guess what? Vaping is killing you the exact same way and may potentially even be worse. Popcorn lungs and all sorts of foolishness. Good morning, caller. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
Sandra.
Morning.
Yeah. Hi. I was just listening for about 15 minutes. I heard a lot of people talking about stress and natural. Anyway, I'm 64, and I really don't care. I think I have maybe 15 years left to live. I have my only childhood friend that I still am in contact with happens to be a doctor.
Okay.
And him and some of his doctor friends, he's in New York. Him and I think 4 or 5 of his doctor friends started a clinic in Brooklyn, New York.
Right.
And they had one wing where they practiced Western medicine, needles, pills, and stuff like that. And they had another wing that started holistic medicine, herbs, teas, things of that sort. And they noticed that the recidivism rate for the Eastern medicines was much better than the Western medicines. So my friend and his cohorts learned Eastern medicine because they said, well, that's what we really want to do, is actually heal people. And it took a little time and a little unlearning and relearning and stuff like that. But it's one of the most successful clinics in the city of New York. See, when I moved back here from New York, I used to hear people talk about, oh, well, you take this leaf and you do that, and you take this herb and you do that. I was like, yeah, right. But you know what? They are right. They don't know why. They don't actually know why this soursop leaf will do that, but I know it does that. And of course, me being, I had to figure it out. So it's fascinating, really. And like, if you're cleaning a barracuda fish and you throw a little barracuda gut at an ant nest, those ants won't touch it if it's toxic. They'll be right all over it if it's good. But why? I need to know. Most of the ants sense the smell.
Okay.
I really don't know. I don't really know the who, what, why, now, everything.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just shut up and listen
Yes.
to the people who came before me.
Yeah.
Who provided.
That's often a good idea. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
What was the last thing you said?
Mm-hmm.
What was the last thing you just said?
No, I said oftentimes that's a good idea. We need to learn and we need to, but leave me there. I appreciate the comment. We got another caller calling in. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning again.
Morning.
I am listening, and Miss Amira is 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
I had to call her name. I'm saying to you, and I will say to the key man, in everything, it is your intake for true. But I can tell you, when the smoking hit, and the second I'm smoking, and the third I'm smoking, when I had my lung disease, pulmonary fibrosis, majority who had pulmonary fibrosis cannot live past 49 years old, 48, 49.
Mm-hmm.
My lungs was at 22%. I was on a lot of medications until one day I got this herb. I got it from a hand, and it is purslane. That cleaned the lungs. And there is so many persons that come to me, and I said to them, it's fluid around the lungs caused by the smoke. And a lot of people leave the smoking and go on to the vaping. The vaping is worse. Worse. And when the lungs has fluid, the fluid suppresses. And when it suppresses, it pushed to the heart. That's what causes a lot of heart disease, heart attacks, and all of these things. When persons hear it, they say, cleanse or detox or flush, they believe it's something. You can detox from your feet.
Okay, so there's no medical evidence to support that. Let me just say that. You're entitled to your opinion, but there's no medical evidence that shows when people do foot soaks that detoxes the body. So leave me there, and we're going to continue the conversation, because of course I want to really, really ensure that we are dealing in facts and figures. You can have your opinion. I know some of you guys do foot soaks. I've done colon cleanses before, and when I really did my research, I'm like, why am I sticking this thing at my rear end when it actually doesn't do anything? It makes you feel better, because you're just getting just that little piece, right? That's not really your colon, that's just your little bonker hole. I hate to tell you, but yes, I mean, they might clean out a little bit, but that not really helping your colon. True detox begins with what you put in your mouth, what you put in your body. That is how you truly detox, right? You can't put crap in and expect that you're going to flush it out at the tail end. It's already gone through your body. Even think about what we're saying when we talk about a colon cleanse. Your colon has a job to do, right? And when you're trying to do a colon cleanse, your body has already done the job. But if you keep putting trash in, what comes out on the other end is trash. Think about it this way. Have you ever really focused on, even for a couple months, eating clean? Eating your vegetables, going almost vegetarian, cutting out all that heavy meat and all that kind of stuff? Have you not noticed that your feces is completely different when you eat clean? Even your urine smells different when you're eating clean, right? So if you're trying to clean it at the end of it, they're not doing you no good. It's already gone through your body. That's the takeaway here. Let's do a better job at what we put in our mouths. Somebody says, I remember you behind me in gym at Anytime Fitness, trying to keep up with me. Yes, sir. In Zumba class 2014, but then I had a baby and never went back to the gym. Oh, Lord. Sometimes those long livers don't eat a lot of food. Those long livers, as in people who live long, don't eat a lot of food. If you watch how often they eat and the amount, you will see food is the biggest culprit, then exercise, and then poor sleep. And you add on top of that our stressful lifestyles, and even worse. Another person says, facts. The leaders themselves are unhealthy and don't promote health and wellness. Good morning. They're promoting the drinking too. And I would really, really, really love to see, quite honestly, and I've said this for the past at least 2 administrations, if anybody would listen, I would love to see our leaders go on a program where they try to lead by example. Like do it how the Japanese do it, right? Where the leaders get up every single morning, regardless of their stress levels and what they have going on. And they lead the whole nation, not just in prayer, but they lead the whole nation. And let's get up. Let's stretch. Let's do Tai Chi and all kind of stuff. And that is a part of what people do in the workplace to start the day. They do it at government jobs. The seniors have these Tai Chi classes. They're moving, they're exercising. Everybody is on an exercise kit. Lead by example, right? Collectively, they could probably all lose a good, 25 to 50 pounds each. This person says, good morning. Sherry Ann needs to work on her thriving ways. She's trying to be relevant. What does thriving ways mean? I don't even know what that means, really. Another comment says, good topic this morning. As a country, we have to make healthier food choices, have smaller food portions, and exercise. There are great free fitness and health videos on YouTube. Some are for people who have to start with chair-based exercises. Yes, I mean, we saw Carla here on CMR TV. Carla did a whole thing with me as one of her first episodes because of my knee injury. I hadn't had my knee surgery yet, where we literally sat in a chair and did exercises. And it was amazing because I was sweating the same way because when you're out of shape and don't take much, I was sweating the same way and I was feeling the workout. So we don't really have an excuse, right? We make excuses, but we don't have an excuse. This person says if vaccine was killing people, more expats would be dying because more expats took the vaccine than locals. Precisely. Common sense. I need y'all to exercise and use your common sense. Another person says, I don't agree with colon cleanse. The body is designed to cleanse itself. The buildup is from eating the wrong foods. And of course, that is 1,000% correct. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm the example. I'm the example of what not to do. But I'm the average Caymanian of the example of what not to do. Okay? I'm a schmitten better maybe than some of you, but I don't take there's no consolation prize for that, But yeah, I mean, I think, again, the truth of the matter is we are to blame for if you think that we're dying at an alarming rate, which factually isn't correct, there's a reason why. Andrew says, have you ever seen a dog, cat, or cow eat a certain type of grass weed to cleanse themselves? Sure. But also what you put in your dogs and what they're eating makes a difference. You'll notice a dog that has had a good diet where you can buy the quality dog food. And I know most of y'all not buying that. You're like, I'm not going to money waste on dogs. They live, it adds years to their lives, what they eat. If they're eating good quality, little, as opposed to little kibbles and bits, the cheap stuff that you get at the grocery store, the quality of their life is completely different. Yep. Same thing with human beings. So, I mean, there's a lot of things are killing us. And I say sometimes you got to pick your poison, but most of us have more than one, comorbidities. Thank you, Soka. We have more than one that's actually killing us. Let's talk about the facts around the vaccine, because this is important. And I mean, the data is out there and you're going to still believe what you want to believe, which is fine, but you can't argue with the data. There have been extensive studies now on the various vaccines. Yes, like anything, they will have side effects. But the vast majority of people, the vaccines saved lives, and millions more could have been saved if people got vaccinated, but that was their choice. Right here in Cayman, we had, what's the young lady who used to work immigration? She refused to get vaccinated. She had health issues, pre-existing comorbidities. And so when she caught COVID, it killed her. It was ironic that she was an anti-vaxxer. And in the end, she was begging for the vaccine and it was too late, right? You can't take a vaccine when you're in your last leg and you have a low amount of oxygen and you're out the door. The vaccine at that point cannot help you. So the vaccine wasn't about preventing you from getting COVID. It was when you got it, which the majority of us got it, It gave you a fighting chance. Now, did everybody with comorbidities drop down dead when they got COVID? No. So I saw Carrie's comment, well, I didn't take the vaccine. The doctor told me he was going to kill me. And I didn't take it and I caught COVID multiple times. Yeah, but you know what? By the time you caught COVID, there was an immunity that was already being built up. Phaedra, yes, that's right. A doctor just said, I think her name was Phaedra. Yes, it was. By the time you caught it, people were starting to get some degree of natural immunity, community spread. And so you may not even had, or you might have had very, very mild symptoms. But there was no doubt, you cannot argue with the fact that people who had comorbidities were more likely to die from COVID than people who did not. And there was a lot of different factors, the strain that you got, your viral load. There was a lot that went into how sick or not sick COVID actually made you. And COVID remains one of those, and I think it might be one of the few diseases that have been studied that infiltrates every single organ in your body. They're still trying to figure out how COVID does what it does because they've never seen anything quite like it. Like people die and they're testing not just lung tissue, the heart, all the major organs. COVID is present and it's there. So there have been a number of global studies that have been done. These are the facts now, data-driven decisions that show that COVID vaccines prevented, about 19.8 million deaths out of a potential 31.4 million worldwide. Using only officially reported COVID deaths, the same analysis estimated that 14.4 million deaths were prevented in that first year of the COVID vaccine. A more conservative, newer global study covering the period of 2020 to 2024 estimated about 2.5 million deaths averted in that period, or roughly one death prevented for every 5,400 vaccine doses given, with around 15 million years of life saved, mostly in people over 60. So all of the research, all of the figures point in a singular direction. Vaccines sharply reduce the risk of dying from COVID, especially in older and high-risk groups. Now let's talk about the side effects, right? There were side effects. So serious adverse events were closely monitored through vaccine safety systems, and the mean risk from the mRNA vaccines was a severe allergic reaction, anaphylaxis, and heart inflammation, myocarditis, and pericarditis. But we know for a fact that your chances of getting myocarditis or pericarditis from the vaccine was still lower than what the vaccine itself was going to do to you. Because the vaccine itself also causes heart, my apologies, not the vaccine itself, the disease itself, COVID, also causes heart inflammation and issues with the heart. So in a review of the Moderna, the mRNA 1273 vaccine, anaphylaxis occurred in about 3.35 cases per 1 million doses, myocarditis at a rate of 5.6 per 1 million doses, and pericarditis at a rate of 2.89 per $1 million, per 1 million doses. Myocarditis tend to occur in younger men within a week after the dose, 2 and 3, and generally mild and treatable. But there were a smaller number that were fatal, right? The US CDC data identified myocarditis, pericarditis, and anaphylaxis as rare but real risk, with only a few hundred confirmed cases of myocarditis among tens of millions of doses of vaccine in adolescents and young adults. But what you need to look at, and this is what's important, is the COVID risk versus the vaccine risk. So like anything else, we go in, the doctor says, well, you know, we're going to give you this vaccine. There's a risk. Let's talk about what the risks are. The rate of possible risk versus Most of us are going to get COVID. Okay? COVID infection carries a much higher risk of death and of heart problems than the vaccine itself. That's accepted in the medical world. In multiple regions, modeling suggests hundreds of deaths averted per 100,000 people vaccinated, compared with only a handful of serious vaccine reactions per millions of doses. The bottom line is, the chance of you dying from a vaccine is possible, of you having an adverse effect, of you getting cardio issues from it, possible. But the chances of you getting it from the actual COVID disease or infection itself was much higher for those exact same ailments. So yes, you had a choice to take. And there are literally millions of people who took the vaccine and had nothing, didn't even notice a single thing. They're still alive and kicking, despite the fact that they had severe comorbidities, et cetera, et cetera. The vaccine did nothing to them. The same cannot be said of people who actually caught COVID. We're in 2026. It's time to stop the COVID misinformation. It's time for people like Sherry Ann and her groups and all of you anti-vaxxers. Some of you are still alive to tell the tale. Some of you were anti-vaxxers and died. There's another lady in the community, a senior. You know, of course, she was a smoker, so her system would have been compromised when she caught COVID, right? In her family, you got sisters arguing with each other because one was pro-vaccine and one wasn't. And their mother died because she refused to take the vaccines, right? Something that at that point could have saved her life. And she refused to take it because she was one of those. And then again, when it was too late, they were begging for it. Can you give it to me? No, it's already too late. That's not how vaccines work. So let's not sugarcoat this. Let's not lie about what is actually happening. And I know some of you, well, just last week, this person had a full clean bill of health. Yeah, that's how hearts work, you know. From 1 minute to the next, they can fluctuate. Remember a couple of weeks ago, we were talking to the good doctor about, oh Lord, what's the heart thing called again? Who's been paying attention to the Health City segments? It's the most common type of heart ailment. Oh Lord Jesus, what's it called again? Oh my goodness. All right, somebody help me out here because I cannot remember. But you know, again, sometimes you have no symptoms of that, right? Rapid heart rate. You might get that, but a lot of people have no symptoms and they don't even know that they have it. So when you drop down with a heart attack, you think, well, not COPD. That wasn't it. It was no. So many people. Let me just try to go back and see what it was. A lot of people. It's quite common actually. A lot of people have it, and I didn't even realize that people have it who are actually quite young. Arterial fibrillation. Yes. AFib. Atrial fibrillation. Yeah. And a lot of people have that. So when I was talking to our cousins in Florida about it, one of her cousins said, oh, she hasn't. She's like maybe in her 40s. She's like, oh yeah, I have it. She's actually got a master's degree in nursing. And I said, you have it? And she's healthy. She is, I don't think she really works out, but you know, she's slim. You know, she's doesn't look like an ounce of fat in her. Again, I can't say what the inside is going on with, but she's relatively healthy. I can tell you she eats healthy and all that kind of stuff, right? And I said, you have this? She said, yeah, something happened and she felt like her heart was going to come out of her chest. And of course she, you know, around heart patients, around emergency rooms, she's like, oh, this isn't normal. And she went in and got checked out, and sure enough, she has AFib. And they don't know what caused it. I mean, otherwise she's like healthy. So they're like, do you know that sometimes what do you call it? Sometimes an infection, like flus and stuff like this, can actually impact your heart. This is the other thing with COVID. And they can basically destroy your heart. I got a story to tell you guys. I'm not going to call her name, but there's someone who works in media. During COVID, she almost died. And she thought that she had COVID. So when she went in, and Health City basically saved her life, right? She had surgery there. And I forget exactly what it is that she had. Don't hold me to the technical name because I cannot remember. I got to see if I can get her to talk about this, do an interview about this. I think this is how you educate people, right? So she thought at first she kind of felt sick, like maybe she had COVID, flu-like symptoms. She had like no energy, all this stuff. Eventually she went and got checked out. She had to have heart surgery because at some point she got an infection. They think it was years ago that actually impacted her heart, and slowly it was killing her. And so every so often now, I think she has to go in and get like a specific type of heart check and whatever, because there are infections that you get that attack the heart and will cause you to have heart failure, heart attacks, and whatever. So I can't recall if she actually has like a pacemaker or something inserted, but I do know that she had surgery, and she was out of commission for like months after this. She was like, I couldn't, slowly her energy level like kind of increased and stuff. And again, this is someone who, relatively speaking, is healthy. She's not overweight. She does Pilates, yoga, whatever, watches her diet. This person says, do you clean a clean house? Do you clean a clean car? Do you clean a clean colon? The shot slowed the run on A&Es and medical facilities worldwide. You know who we need to talk to? I gotta see if Kevin can get us in contact. There was this African-American doctor that came on the show during the height of COVID. Like we were having evening shows. He was so good. And he was working in emergency rooms and stuff like that. And he was saying, listen, there's a lot that we don't know. So I can only tell you what's presenting, what we see, what we do know. And people who had low vitamin D levels, which unfortunately a lot of us suffering from that too, they had a higher rate of dying from all infections, but definitely from COVID and stuff as well. It was just so incredibly interesting. But have a look at this. Somebody's sharing this with us.
Personal trainer is not African.
I'm not very tired.
Oh, Ganesh.
Okay, I am not hearing.
This
I feel like there's
Ganesh,
something
Wow.
off with my
That's a
audio
lot of
here
Ganesh.
this morning.
And where's the food? The food, the one that this one is garnishing.
I'm sure you guys are not
Eh?
well. Okay, something.
This one, this is the food.
There's some audio setting that's off.
But can this qualify as food? No, this cannot
you guys
be
can hear the
food.
video?
But where is the actual food? Where's
That's
the
strange
food?
because I'm not hearing it.
Huh?
What? Okay.
But this is grass. No, I don't eat grass. I am a human being. How
Let
can you
me
come and
look at my
carry grass for me to
virtual
eat?
faders
Are we
here.
feeding rabbits?
How
Are
do I
there
get to them
rabbits
again? I
somewhere
can't
here?
remember.
This is the food that
I
my
can hear
food
the
eats.
video.
This is not my food. I
can.
just did exercise and I'm hungry. You are bringing me grass. Or is this a sacrifice? I don't understand. It is, you Americans, it is only in your society that you people have
I can't
normalized
on radio.
dysfunction so
So
much
radio
that you cannot
can't
even
hear it
tell
and
the
I
difference
can't hear
between
it.
food for
So
human
that
beings and food
means
for
that,
animals. This is grass.
Something
How
has
can you come
changed.
and carry grass for me to eat like I am a rabbit? I am
my
not a
goodness.
cow.
Okay,
No,
so
no,
radio
please go
can't
and
hear
carry
it,
the
but social
actual
media
food
can
for
hear it.
me.
All
This
right,
one
give
I
me a
cannot
second.
eat it. If you have
I'm gonna try and
ugali, I
figure
will
this
eat.
out while I continue to talk.
Bring me some rice. If I don't know whose front lawn
I
you
know we've
went
been
and
here
butchered
before.
with machete to come and bring me this sad
And
and
I just
pitiful
can't
sacrifice
remember.
of grass. But
So
kindly
if
return it
radio
to their
can't
front
hear
lawn
it.
and bring me, if you have rice,
Okay, let me
even
see
in
here.
some small rice, or if you have ugali or
I
fufu,
can't
I will eat
remember
any
how
of
to
them. In
get
fact, if you have
into
Ghanaian
virtual
jollof, that
theater.
would be my
Oh,
preference.
gosh.
But even in this moment of desperation in my life, even
Virtual
Nigerian jollof, I will
faders.
eat.
Watching it on
Next time, if
Facebook,
you want
yeah.
to insult me, my friend, just slap
So
me
you
twice
guys
in
can
my
hear it,
cheeks and go. Is it because I could
but
not do
nobody
the
else
50
can.
push-ups for you? I told you I can only do 35. I will give you the other 15 tomorrow, but you don't have to insult me with sad grass that you want me to be eating.
Okay,
Is
I
it
can't
because
hear
I'm
her at
coming for
all.
diet? I am coming for diet. I did not come
Okay.
to die. It
Let me
is
logically
diet.
think about what's
Diet. This
happening
one,
here.
are you trying to
Radio
kill
can
me?
not hear it. Okay. So Facebook can hear it. That would be nothing here. It has to be something on this board, I do believe. I can't remember how to get into my virtual faders again. Oh, Lord have mercy. Let me see. Oh. Okay, so no. Okay, you see. That's virtual. No. Huh. No. This is a bit strange. Something strange is happening, but okay, I do want to move on because there is something else that I want to talk about, but no doubt we will come back to this again. I'm a little bit surprised that you guys are still, despite all the evidence and all these years later, obviously people are still catching COVID. I know someone who just had it the other day as well. I am a little bit surprised that we're even still going on and on about the COVID vaccine or any vaccines in general. Right now, we have a measles outbreak in the United States of America that is literally costing children their lives, costing the American people billions of dollars as well, as measles makes a resurgence and is about to, as it already has, started to completely get out of control. It's pretty wild. Please read the STEP survey and, have a look at the numbers. Someone sent me some graphs this morning that I think were taken from the STEP survey that really demonstrate how much our lives are being impacted by people who refuse to get vaccinated. They're refusing all sorts of vaccines that have proven safe and effective for many, many years. And that is really quite unfortunate, because there are people whose lives are at risk, communities. The vast majority of people who are dying from measles, of course, are unvaccinated children. And you have parents who, have children then in the hospital and, I wish I'd gotten the vaccine and your child's about to die. I think it's criminal. I honestly think that it's criminal that there is something available for children, that we had wiped out some of these diseases. And now we are literally back at it again, trying to convince people that vaccines are safe, when we have known for a very, very long time that measles, polio, all these vaccines, all these diseases were on the brink of completely being exterminated. And here we are again because of people jumping up and talking about this whole anti-vaxxer thing. I mean, it's just ridiculous, because they're not just questioning the COVID vaccine. They're undermining 50 years of vaccine research and work and efficacy, to the point where, they're just completely undoing it. And so people are dying. Children, especially, are dying. A lot of these so-called parents themselves have already been vaccinated, so they're fine. But it's their children who are actually dying. So it's just unbelievable. Anyway, let's move on. And I'm still trying to figure out why radio folks couldn't hear that. So there's some setting here I obviously need to adjust, and I don't know what it is. So let's move on. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, maybe I'll just restart my computer and everything later on. Sometimes just a good restart fixes everything. I don't know. All right, let's talk a little bit about the acquisition of this building. So someone sent me an article yesterday that talked about government has acquired one financial place. And I've actually known about this for months. I knew that the government had started the acquisition process. The reason why Two reasons why I didn't say anything about it. I actually forgot. So, brain, yes. And I can prove to you that I intended to post it because in January, I'm going to show you two images. This image here, I actually took from a rooftop, and that was taken, let me get the date, at January the 10th at 4:49 p.m. Thank you, iPhone, for giving us such good details. So I took that because I said, oh yeah, when I do my story or post, because I wasn't sure it was going to be a full story, about government acquiring this building, this would be a really great shot that most people, when we talk about stock photos or whatever, most people are not going to have this sort of aerial view of One Capitol Place. Then I took this one, which is from the ground, just on February the 22nd at 6:24 p.m. And I took this one, and again, I was like, oh yeah, I've got to put up this post about government purchasing this building. But I didn't have confirmation that the purchase was actually completed, because when I heard about it, I knew that government was in the process of purchasing it, you know? And you don't want to say, I mean, I could have just said that, I suppose, but sometimes there are negotiations that are happening, and things can still happen with a closing. Now, hopefully government shouldn't have any financing issues like with us. You can't say that, oh yeah, that's my property until you have signed on the dotted line and the closing is actually completed. Because anything can happen at the last minute. You can't get the life insurance that the bank claims that you need to acquire this property. Or, you know, they find out something last minute, and all of a sudden they're like, oops, sorry, we can't give you the funding again. So unless you're paying cash and you got the cash in the bank and you know that that money is yours, you know, there's a lot of things. Or sometimes people are doing, like you do inspections on purchases of this magnitude to make sure that you're getting value for money. I'm sure the government had to go through and do all of that. So, you know, things can happen that could impact a closing, right? So yeah, so this building, I guess the closing has finally happened because CNS has done a story to say that it's happened. So I see that there is some kickback on the acquisition of the building. And again, when I didn't read the story, but somebody sent me some comments and they said, hey, you know, this is what people in CNS are saying. As I've always said, I look at that and I take it with a grain of salt, these so-called comments, because I don't know if that's one person commenting 50 times, and I don't know how many comments there are, or if that's 50 people commenting one time. Nobody can tell you that except maybe CNS, because they see the back end of where these comments are coming from. And the only way that they can sort of maybe give you some information is they know and they can see the IP address. But people's IP address, like I can make a comment from my phone that will have one MAC address, one IP address, and I can go to work and make a comment from my work computer, but I'm the same person and saying something else. So I can never gauge really how the community is feeling about something based on the CNS comment. And I don't say that to try to discredit that platform and how people comment. I'm just explaining that this is the reality of it, right? You can't say that that gives you the pulse of the community. And so when people post stuff on there, we're like, oh, you know, all these people saying this about this person. I'm like, all of what people? Like, you don't know how many people it is. So all of what people? It might actually be a minority that are just commenting ferociously over and over and over again. You don't know that that's a lot of people. So that's an assumption that people make. So I take it with a grain of salt. I don't read the comments. I don't read CNS. I don't really tend to read other media. You know, there's more than one reason why, but reading a story that you might potentially yourself have to either discuss or write on, reading it somewhere else can actually skew then what you say. Even sometimes the very words that you use subconsciously, that article is already in your head. So I try to be very, very careful with reading content, especially from local newspapers, for that reason and sometimes other reasons as well, right? But that's kind of like the primary reason. So my understanding is that there's some sort of kickback against this purchase because people believe, because the NCB group owned this building, people believe that the government is trying to bail out NCB. Okay, let me tell you guys what the facts are. And there's a very specific reason why I haven't gone ham on the NCB group yet, but it's only a matter of time. We've touched on it, but it's only a matter of time before we're going to have to do a deep dive on what has happened with the NCB group, because it is a lot. Okay? We're going to get there. So Matthew White, sorry, Bobo, but you're going to be the center of that story. Null Bodden, sorry, Bobo, but you're going to be the center of that story too. We're going to have to talk about it. This is a huge construction company in the Cayman Islands. And they have literally gone bankrupt and belly up, and people have a lot of questions in terms of what on earth is going on. Now, if they were smart, they would reach out to me and maybe sit down and do an interview and try to explain this mess, but I know they're not smart. How do I know they're not smart? Because the position the NCB construction is in is because of their own fault. So they're not going to sit down and take blame for the financial mess that that company is in. And it extends beyond. We've covered the extension. This isn't just Cayman. They've got Jamaican partners. What's his name? Lee Chin Ying Shing Wing Wong Wing out of Jamaica, that rich billionaire guy. He's all tied up with these NCB people. So this is a regional disaster. The failure of the company here means that a lot of other companies have failed. Somebody said, don't they own Security Center? They have a lot of interest and assets and building condos and hotels, and liquidators already going in and taking. It's a huge mess. And we have to try to unravel it at some point in time. Right? This will probably be a case study on how to make sure a business fails. However, in relation to this building and this acquisition by government, anyone who is sitting down trying to make the argument that the government is attempting to bail out Null Bodden and NCB has no clue what they are talking about. And I can say that with 1,000% confident. You know why? There is no bailing NCB out. No purchase is going to bail them out. You can buy this. You can buy the hotel next to the cemetery there, Dixie Cemetery, I think is what it's called, right across from the Eastern Avenue intersection gas station. You can buy that. That's not going to bail them out. They are so far, they're not even knee deep in it. They are shoulder deep. They are literally about to drown in the hot mess of a situation that they're in. There's no recovery. And so I do message them sometimes about, hey, we're getting complaints, pension money not paid for your workers. They're not getting salary. Oh, you know, this, that, next thing. We're trying to rework, and we're trying to, in the States, they'd call it like Chapter 11, where they'd file Chapter 11 to try to not completely go out of business, but to try to basically reconfigure. That's not the word I really want to use, but it's not coming to me at the moment, where they try to rework their finances and stuff like that. I don't think there's any amount of reworking at this stage that can be done, because that's how bad it is. So if you think the government is trying to save Null Bodden, they can't save Null Bodden from this. They can't save Matthew from this. They can't save NCB from this. This is beyond a hot mess. Now let's talk about the justification for why government would even purchase the building. Government spends over $11 million per annum in rent. Okay? I'm not talking about the government building that they own, that they're occupying. Pretty much by the time government moved into that building was already at capacity. Government is the single largest employer in the Cayman Islands. We're not just talking about core government. There's government, and then there's government agencies, SEMA, NRA. There's tons of departments, agencies, all part of government, but they need to be housed somewhere. They need to have headquarters somewhere. Okay? So the truth of the matter is, when you're spending $11 million in rent, common sense would tell you that you need to acquire more space. PWD. What's the the one up by agriculture? What are they called again? Oh Lord. But they're all over the place. There's only a certain amount of space that is available in Georgetown. Yeah. There's very little space left to actually build a building. It would only be if you acquire it and then knock something down and erect something new. That's Central Georgetown don't have no more space. It's kind of funny because that park that they're putting in there down in Scranton, everybody's like, that park is a waste of what is actually very valuable commercial space. But, they claim that the Scranton people want a concrete park to be able to hang out in. Only God knows why. I'm not saying that a park couldn't have gone there, but I don't think that the design for that park makes any sense whatsoever. But there was a lot of other people thinking, oh my God, that's like valuable parking garage. That could have been another building to house government. There's really no space left in town to build anything. So if an existing building comes on the market for sale, and I can tell you, having spoken to some government individuals, they kick themselves in the proverbial foot when other buildings have come up and past governments didn't purchase those buildings. They missed out on an opportunity. Now, you also need to look at this because this is a very interesting fact, right? This is something that my bank explained to me years ago, and I hadn't really thought about it when we were purchasing your home. I went in, I remember, bless his little heart, big shout out to Andrew Williams over at Cayman National. We were looking at this house and I said to him, this is what they're asking. This is what we're going to offer because we thought it was overpriced. And Andrew was there with his little calculator. I remember he was there and he was like doing some numbers. And I said, but Andrew, is this a really good deal for this house? I mean, this is what we're going to offer, but we're still kind of thinking maybe it's overpriced because a buyer is always trying to bring down the seller, right? And he said, let me put it this way. You couldn't build this house for this price that you're purchasing it for. And I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, for you to build this house, amount of square footage, there's a per square footage rate to build a house of this quality, this structure, blah, blah, blah. You couldn't build it for that because you'd have to go out there and find the land, build it to completion. And I'm telling you, you cannot build it for that. And that is the equation that they use. So what I'm saying to you now, I have done my research, and government, even if the land was there, they couldn't build for what they're actually acquiring this building at. It was actually, in other words, a very good value proposition. Good value for money. They got a deal. Now, does that mean they got a deal because NCB is desperate? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that this building wasn't paid off. So they probably still had a loan note on it. It's probably going to the bank. The liquidators probably done grab that little money to see who, which one of their debts they can service and pay off. Other things to consider about the building. It is fully tenanted, right? I think that they have an opening of 6,000 square feet. The building survived Hurricane Ivan. That's important when you're thinking about, do I purchase a building or do I not purchase a building? Do I purchase a house or do I not purchase a house? Did it actually survive Hurricane Ivan? This building did. So what the intent of government is that they're going to allow the leases to expire, and then eventually they will take up the space. So they're not going to go in there and break leases and kick out tenants right now. But whenever the tenants that are there, whenever those leases expire, they're going to have to find somewhere else to go. It is connected directly. So there is a direct connection from the building to this central Scranton Park, which of course is literally right next to it. So in some respects, when you look at it, that would be a complete government complex. And in fact, my opinion is, I'm sorry, Scranton folks, I would turn that Scranton Park into a parking lot for additional parking, but it's a park. So maybe they're not going to change that. I don't know. I ain't got nothing to do with that part of the equation. But when you look at it from a logistical and cost perspective, this has nothing to do with saving Nullbodden. This makes really, really good sense. Now, let's talk about what has happened in the past, because we know that there have been other buildings, like I said, that were for sale in town that government missed out on. Number one, the old CIBC building. It's now called Monaco Towers, completely refurbished. Frank Schillings grabbed those buildings, fixed it up, got a nice white paint, call it Monaco Towers, fully tenanted. They also missed out on the building MUFG. That was up for sale. Government didn't buy it. Somebody else bought it. So there are examples, arguably, the government has passed up on opportunities to actually acquire prime real estate that would be saving them money in the long run. And instead, they sat down and they did nothing. Right? The building is about 40,000 square feet. They purchased it for around $12.3 million. If you do the math, go and ask anybody who's in the construction business right now. Ask them what it would cost to build a 40,000 square foot building of this quality, and they will tell you you can't get it done for $12.3 million. And that, for the record, does not include the value of the property that it actually sits on. Because remember, you got to find property, acquire property before you can build on it, right? Let's take a caller. Good morning, caller. Hello? Hello, caller. Hello, honey child. Are you there? Hello? Miss Wagwan. You call my phone. Are you there? Hello? All right. They're having a side conversation. And clearly we were not part of it. Okay, good morning. Restructure. Thank you so much, Anthony and Rohan. Yes. That was the word I was looking for. They're able to restructure. Shaka says you have to be a really, really bad construction company to fail in this construction boom in Cayman. Well, it's not the construction part that's the problem. It's other things. Anthony, I think Nullbodden might still have interest in Security Center, but I also think the Jamaicans came and bought that out. So when this same guy, Chin, is that his name? I might just be giving Leachin. Michael Leachin, is that him? I think that he was the one who actually, because he funded CNB. There's some kind of relationship between him, not CNB, NCB. And so he has an interest in the NCB group. And that's why now all his bonds, remember we wrote about that a few months ago, people calling in his bonds into the millions and billions of dollars, these people rolling large, and he's having some issues satisfying those. So he's calling in the debt that is tied to NCB, and they're all in trouble. I can tell you that. Andrew Strongwill says, yes, government needs some building because they're all over the place. Andrew says the new government building was $85 million to build, as memory recalls. And I can't recall what the square footage is of that building. Does anybody know? I might have to see if my AI assistant might know. Strong Will says, knock down the old glass house. Well, knock it down and do what with it? I mean, I think they were trying to decide. I'm not so sure that they can save the building because it's actually considered a sick building. But knock it down and do what? Put up a parking garage, try and put up another building. You know, all of these things cost money. So yes, they can knock it down. But I think the bigger discussion is going to be what are we knocking it down for? What are we going to do with it? So I think until they're ready to do something with it, they probably just let it sit there. Andrew says, true, Sandra, labor cost of land are 3 times the cost. So it's often easy to criticize these decisions made by government. And I'm no industry expert here. I'm not in the construction industry. I'm not in the renovation industry or anything like that. But I can tell you, sometimes you think that's when people be trying to lowball you. Yeah, I can build that for you for X, Y, and Z until you get started. And then every budget is over. I mean, look at the schools. It's just a lesson about, how you go over and capital projects. So sometimes it's better to just buy something that's already built. That was a lesson that Andrew taught me at CNB. He said, you can't build for this. And I said, and I was there kind of nitpicking about some of the things I didn't like about the house. I'm like, I don't like, he said, you buy it. And then over time, as your budget permits, you improve upon the things that you don't like. You can change stuff. But what you can't do is you can't build it for that. So start with something and then work with that. And I agreed with that position. I said, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, although I don't know anything about construction and construction costing and project costing and whatever, I said, this still makes sense to me. And that's what we did. And over the years, I mean, without a doubt, what we purchased our place for, I probably invested that and then some a little bit in upgrades, So we did things as we could afford it. Like, okay, we're going to start out with this little project. And then, next year, I wanted to look at my window treatments. Window treatments are expensive when you got 23 windows. Hello. And so then I was like, okay, well, I got to spread it out. I told the windows lady, I can't afford to buy all of these at one time. Stay within my lane. Stay within your means. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. So I said, Miss, this is how we're going to do it. Okay. One room at a time. Some rooms, I'd be like, okay, this month I think I can budget these 2 rooms together. But some of them have like bay windows. So each one of those is considered a window for the purposes of ordering. These plantation shutters, they're like all wood. They're not the plastic one. These things are expensive as hell. So honey, I was like, okay, how much is that? And I would ask her, okay, the master bedroom has these windows because she came and did all the measurements. How much is that? I told her to break it down by room for me. So I could then look at the quote and go, okay, this room is going to cost me X. Start saving towards that. And then when I had the money ready, could give her the deposit because, you pay your deposit for it to order for that room. Then when it comes in, she installs it, you got to pay the balance. So I had to take my time. But Andrew was right. I've been able to make, if you saw the house, I mean, it was a nice house from the word jump, I thought. But I've done a lot of improvements over the years. And that's one thing with a house. Make sure you know that when you buy one of them, it's like a constant construction project as far as I'm concerned, because there's always something that need doing. Anthony says the best thing is to get the tenants out. We all know what happens when government rents and gets into business, nothing gets paid. So no, the plan is not to keep the tenants there. They're not getting in the landlord business. And I figured that, and I got confirmation of that before speaking today. There was another company. When I'll send this information to Renee, but when we do our story, we're not going to mention them by name. But there was another company that actually wanted to. Listen, commercial property like this is valuable, and people grab it up. So there was another company who wanted it, and there was a little bit of a bidding war with them. But I won't mention their name. But let's just say that they were in the insurance business. Yes. Okay. So I can assure you that Nal Bodden and them not getting bailed out. Poor them. Like I said, this isn't money that's going in their little kitten and caboodle. They're practically bankrupt. I mean, not for nothing, but if you work for them, you should be looking for a new job. Andrews says Camana Bay are building at a rapid pace. Only thing left is Georgetown to be revitalized. Here's the thing about Georgetown and versus Camana Bay that's kind of interesting. Again, Camana Bay is top of the line real estate. A lot of times those buildings are tenanted before they're even completed, which is crazy. So the one that they're building now is going to be called 90 Nexus Way. The one next to it was 60 Nexus Way. And if my memory serves me correctly, don't hold me to this, but as my memory serves me correctly, when they were completing 60 Nexus Way, that was supposed to be the last construction building for a hot minute. Because, you know, you guys understand how the DART organization does their construction, right? They have this PAD. What does PAD stand for again? Something area development. But it's like the PAD is the long-term plan that is approved in principle by the planning department, right? Then when they decide to do a particular section of the long-term development plan, they then put in for that building or that housing complex or whatever. And they have to get specific approval for that. So there's like the long-term plan. Then there is, let me see. Then there is the individual projects that have to, then be undertaken. And so I recall being privy to a conversation that when they completed 60 Nexus Way, which is the building next door, they were like, okay, they have no plans, no construction plans for the next 5 years. So they were going to be done. But the demand of companies and businesses wanting to move in to Camana Bay dictated that they start the construction on 90 Nexus Way sooner than they had anticipated. Because people are literally running out of office space. So that got leased out very, very quickly. And they're like, oh, okay. People are still contacting us, about leasable space, and we don't have anything left. The type of multi-purpose and multi-use platform or environment that Camana Bay is, it does dictate that it stays busy, right? You've got restaurants that need clients, not just clients coming in from other places to eat. They have got a captured audience right there with literally hundreds of people working. Law firms, you got, I think at least, is it now 2 of the top accounting firms are there? PwC is over there, and is Deloitte over there as well? I'm trying to remember who else is there. But there's a couple accounting firms, there's a couple law firms. So here, I'm going to give y'all a little nugget. Tell them you heard it first on CMR. The new building, 90 Nexus Way, I have reliably heard, guess who's moving in there? Maples and Calder. I have heard that all of Maples and Calder is actually taking that space. So Maples is going to, I don't know what they're going to do with the building in town that they're in now. I don't know if it's up for sale. Maybe government can grab that one too. Hint, hint. But Maples is going to put everything under one building. So they have Maples Finance and then Maples, the law firm, whatever. My understanding is they are taking all of Nexus Way, 90 Nexus Way, the new building. So that's already gone. And the building not even done yet. Island Pearl said maybe government didn't purchase the other properties in town because they were trying to obtain property closer to the existing building and would eventually approach the people of Scranton to buy them out. No, they just didn't act on it. And then after the fact, they're like, oh, darn, that would have been a good acquisition. Remelia says, I agree, get rid of it, create office space and parking, make revenue. I'm assuming you're talking about Scranton Park. And it's not about making revenue. In this case, it'd be about saving revenue, because when you have your own, you don't have to go out there and lease from somebody else. Andrew says an old house, if built properly and solid foundation, can be modernized cheaper than building new in the majority of cases. Well, this was when we were talking about our place, it was actually funny enough, Andrew, a new build, but it was a new build that had been sitting there. My apologies. It was a new build that had been sitting there for quite some time. All right, I gotta remember to restart the computer because I don't know where this audio issue in the radio is happening, but we'll try to figure it out. They need to get rid of the police station as well. Well, here's another thing. I'm gonna put this one up before CNS jumps on it. Because a lot of times I know stuff because I'm hearing stuff and I know what's going on. And then I forgot to post it up. So let me tell you all this one now. This might be, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but the police are moving because, you know, they occupy multiple buildings now as well. There's no central police station anymore. Okay. So they have the little building there by across from Piccadilly Square. So they're in there. They are in Royal Bank Building. So they occupy, I think, 2 floors in there for like the police commissioner had quarters and whatever, senior officers, senior detectives has space in there. Where else is police? They're also traffic. Oh, by the way, y'all see that? It's looking good now. The building across from Jose's Esso that used to be the low income homes or whatever. I got to go to an appointment, but that is that's being built and they just put a coat of paint on it. What a difference a coat of paint makes. I almost missed it. And the other day I'm like, wow, when did this building get this far? It's looking really nice. So that's behind the little traffic building. So police are all over the place, but they are moving into, Flow has given up. And I don't think government has purchased it, but I think, again, this is another lease situation. Flow has actually given up their office space on that corner, that Flow headquarters building. They have pretty much given up that space to the police. So I believe the police are outfitting it. And here's the thing. A lot of times when government goes into these lease arrangements, it's not just about, did they buy the Flow building though? They're moving in there, but I don't think they purchased it. I don't think government's purchased it, but they have to fit it out. Just like the court's office. Ms. Ramsey mentioned it a couple of years ago when she was saying that the court's office need more space. They need a proper court facility. You know, they try to upgrade and do what they can. But when they renovated the Royal Bank building, because they're in there now, like legal aid is in there and they have court in a couple, you know, there's only so much that they can do to retrofit a building for use of purpose without having to knock the whole building down. So they did their best trying to retrofit like the rooms for, you know, where they could have an area for when they have trials for the juror and the witness box and, you know, the defendant sits here and all kind of stuff. So they did their best retrofitting it, but those retrofitting jobs cost a lot of money. Renovating these older buildings, not cheap either. And so what you find is government has to go in there and renovate a lot of these buildings before they even start their lease. I mean, the lease is started legally, but what I'm saying is before they can move staff in there, they have to do a complete renovation. Sometimes they get into new buildings and so they have to fit it out from scratch. Do y'all know what it costs to fit out? Don't ask me because I know a little something about this. Expensive. Cayman, not cheap. Even if you're not building it from scratch, but you just have an empty office space. They say, okay, it's on you to fit it out. Oh my God. I could share a thing or two with you. It's expensive. Let me just leave it at that. I can't tell you the dollars and figures, but I can tell you it's expensive. Crazy expensive. Y'all don't know. You gotta be putting in ceilings, tiles, carpet, flooring, furniture. I had to get a furniture quote the other day for what is really a very, very small area. Over $60,000 was the office furniture quote. Me almost sinking to the floor. I was like, 60 what? You must mean lempiras. Is that 60,000 lempiras? Is that 60,000 pesos or Jamaican dollars? It ain't cheap. Okay. I'm just saying. It's a hot mess. So Ernst & Young is in there and PwC, right, Anthony? Amelia says, are you serious, Sandra, about turning that park into parking? You're insulting the people of Central. I don't know if I'm insulting the people of Central, because I don't know that people of Central even want the park there, because they said that could just be a space for more druggies. You see, this is when you don't have a development plan for the country. You're just throwing stuff up here, there, and everywhere. Okay. Let me pick a little argument with you, Miria. I know you said we were on the same topic and a same wavelength earlier today, but let me say this. One of the reasons why when government keeps redoing, they've redone Heroes Square and the walls and the placards and stuff so many friggin' times, wasting money, if you ask me. But they keep digging it up, keep redoing it. We had the Georgetown revitalization project, which didn't revitalize Georgetown, not at all. In fact, it killed a few businesses. But they were keen to take out places where people could sit. Why? Because them same people, listen to me now, Omeria, those same people in Georgetown Central, you know, some of them got a little alcohol problem, some of them got a little drug problem. They did not want them having anywhere to sit. This came from the words of the people responsible for the project in Georgetown, Heroes Square. Let a little light fall down a little bit here. They didn't want them to have, they were instructed by government, don't put anything there where they can sit, because then we're going to have them, the ones with the mental health issues, they're going to be sleeping on the benches at night, they're going to be hanging out there, blah, blah, blah. So what they building this park for? So they can hang out there and all the druggies can be there shooting up drugs and hanging out together? And people in Central, not business with no concrete park. Not in the form that it is. I'm not saying a park wouldn't be nice, but the form that park has been done, I don't think the people in Central really wanted that. Y'all need to do a proper survey of those so-called people in Central that you think are being insulted, because I don't think so. All right, we got to wrap up because I got another appointment I got to rush to. Andrew says downtown Kingston Harbor has been revitalized with art murals, restaurants, etc. Heard flow moving somewhere in Camana Bay as well when it's finished. So they're actually, some of them are in 60 Nexus Way already. However, I have been reliably informed that Flow trying to low-key save a lot of money, and they just have people working from home. And they're like, if you get your work done and you can work from home, we don't need to have a Flow headquarters anymore. So I think some of the more higher ups in Flow, who I guess still need an office or whatever, they're in 60 Nexus Way in Camana Bay already. But a lot of these other guys, they now work from home. And I guess if it's working for them, there's Flow give you a little allowance every month, give you free internet, and you stay from home, get your work done. They're not business with you. How RBC Retail looking, they soon be out of business in the Cayman Islands, and that building will be for sale too. Oh, Lord have mercy. Only thing keeping RBC afloat is the CIG accounts. Ooh, honey child, the day they lose them. And I thought I heard CIG was going to move their accounts, but yeah, the day they move them, you might be right, Anthony. Sean Wilt says, Auntie, you can't even find parking space whenever you go to Royal Bank. I know. All of Georgetown, though, is tough. If you got to go to court and you trying to, you know, do something, trust me, it ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous trying to find parking. Andrew says, what? You trying to put in marble? No. Anthony, I need to show you that quote because you gonna understand. It wasn't nothing that fancified. No, sir. Things are just expensive. Y'all don't know till you know. Let me also say this. Strong Will says, purchase app. Child, you know me. I'll be looking for a deal on Amazon. Anywhere I can get a deal, I'd be like, oops, let's look for some used furniture in EK. Let's look at Amazon. You're right about that, honey child. There was something else I was just going to mention. Oh, God, I can't remember now. Andrew, something you had that triggered a thought. And I was going to say something to you about the cost of, listen, the cost of things right now. It was something about the cost. I was going to give you another example. Oh, yes. Remember how the other day we were talking about the cost of lettuce and tomato at Popeyes being added to the bill for $1? I got but one better for you now. I took a picture of it because I said, I'm not complaining because, I mean, I ordered it, so I got nothing to say. I think if you order extra, you know you're going to pay for it. But you know what's even more expensive than lettuce and tomato? 4 ounces of sauce. And I'm not telling you what restaurant it is because I'm really not trying to pick on the restaurant. I ordered it and I knew I was going to pay for it. But the truth of the matter is, I don't normally even look at my receipt because I'm like, well, I'm paying for it. Just pay the damn bill. That's like when I go to the gas station. What I look at the gas prices for? This is how I see it, right? I'm looking at the gas prices because I'm going to go in and negotiate with them and be like, oh, I'm not paying that. No, I'm going to pay it. What, it's $5 whatchamacallit? $5, hold on. Okay, I gotta show you this bill. $5 a gallon or $20 a gallon. I guess if I want gas in my car, I'm gonna have to pay for it regardless, right? And if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. So let me show y'all. I got a condiment, AKA a side of sauce, in a little container. It says it's 4 ounces. That's what it says. $1.25. Take that. $1.25. At least the lettuce is healthier for you. Because I don't really eat ketchup, I dip my fries in this sauce and it's really good. I must say it's delicious. But $1.25. And you know the worst part is? I don't eat the fork, like I don't drape it in it. I just dip it a little bit just to kind of get a little flavoring on the fries. I paid $1.25 for a side of 4 ounces of sauce. But I'm not complaining. Because if I can't afford it and I don't want it, I didn't have to order it. Just like the lettuce and tomato. If you're ordering a sandwich and you want lettuce and tomato, but you don't want to pay $1, take your backside home, cut your tomato, get a piece of lettuce out of the fridge and put it on your sandwich yourself. And eat your sandwich at home. You can still get the sandwich, but go home and get your lettuce and tomato and put it on if you feel, perturbed about it. Chick-fil-A sauce. Love Chick-fil-A sauce. Love it. Poor Gigi, she loves it too, but she can't have Chick-fil-A anymore because she's allergic. There's something in there that makes her break out like around her mouth. She has an allergic reaction. So she be watching me eat Chick-fil-A and be rolling her eyes, poor thing. And you know the funny thing is, I was even into Chick-fil-A until she saw it one day and wanted to get it. And then she's like, Mom, can we try Chick-fil-A? And I was like, can't tell you. Now, every time I go to the States, I'm like, oh, can we do a Chick-fil-A run? I love their little fries. Anyway, I digress. So everybody loves the Chick-fil-A sauce. That's what makes the fries a little bit extra. Do you know that you can actually go to Walmart and you can purchase the Chick-fil-A sauce as like its own sauce? Yeah, they have it in the sauce section. Oh, I wonder if Amazon has it. Hold on. Let me tell you. So, by the way, PAD stands for Planned Area Development, and it's a large master plan development zone that sets out the overall mixed use of space, residential, commercial, tourism, etc., the road layout, open space, and densities for a big site. And it's approved by the CPA, the Central Planning Authority, as a framework. Individual buildings and phases will then need separate planning permission. So I think DART is the most famous example of this, really. How PADs use in Cayman. So major projects such as DART's propose mixed-use resort and residential neighborhoods, for example, near the Yacht Club and the Astor Cayman Med City have used PAD applications to get high-level approval for an entire new development, basically, district. And then PADs typically allow a combination of like hotels, offices, retail, housing, and amenities on one large tract. And then you do the detailed infrastructure and drainage plans addressed throughout subsequent phase-by-phase applications. So I just wanted to throw that in there for those of you who are interested in what a pad was. So let's just have a quick look on Amazon. Just a quick look. Arriving today. Arriving Friday. What? That's gone up in price already? Did I order it? Crap. I missed the sale price. Oh man. This thing went on sale for oh, I'm so pissed off. I am not ordering that right now. No way, Jose. It was $80-something. Now it's gone up to $104, and I'm not ordering it. I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale again. Something told me yesterday, order that at that price because you know that a best price. Sure. Okay, well, I'm not ordering it at the new price. I'm gonna wait. Okay, anyway. Child, even to me looking deals. Oh, I'm so perturbed. Oh, this one says lowest price in 30 days. I better try and order that one then. Hold on, sorry. I need to place an order. Oh yeah, I need to order that and that. That one's still not at the lowest price in how many days, but we can order this one. Okay. What size is this? Okay. Okay, yes. All right, let me send this to my mailbox. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, folks. When you see something on sale, you gotta grab it. That's the lowest price in 30 days, so I don't know what that means. Honey chill. Okay, I'm gonna just send that here. Yes, delivered to that address. Those 2 items. Okay. All right. That's not what I came to Amazon for, but let me see. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A sauce. Yeah. So here it is. So they have the dipping sauce. They have different ones. They have the sauce bundle, but the original Chick-fil-A sauce, yep, Amazon has it. You can get it on Amazon. So they have the Polynesian sauce, which a lot of people like. And then they have the Chick-fil-A sauce. So Amazon has them as well. Squeeze bottle, reusable bundle. They have the barbecue one. They have the honey mustard. Oh, they have Popeye sauces too. Look at that. They got sweet heat and blackened ranch. If you guys like the Popeye sauces, you can get those. They're a lot cheaper than the Chick-fil-A sauces, I can tell you that. They got the Taco Bell Chipotle sauce. Oh my God. The Bang Bang sauce from Fisherman's. They got Thai peanut sauce, all kind of sauces. I'm not too much into sauces, but there are a few that I really, really like. And the Chick-fil-A sauce happens to be one of them. Oh, I got this Japanese barbecue sauce the other day. I actually bought this at Costco because I want Miss Stacy to try it out on some barbecue to see how it tastes. Anyway, yes. So I've seen the Chick-fil-A sauce in Walmart. Amazon has it as well. And so you can buy that. And I guess if you can wait till you get home to eat your Chick-fil-A, you have it at home. And you don't have to pay extra for the sauce because Chick-fil-A is certainly going to charge you for that sauce as well. I haven't been to Checkers. Are they even still around, Lady D? Because I have not been there. Woo, honey child, probably 20 years. I have not been to Checkers, but I've had their food before. And I remember their burgers are pretty decent too. Anthony asked me if I've seen the size of the Burger King Junior Whopper. I don't really eat fast food like that normally, so nope. I don't know nothing about no sizes. And my advice to you is they're probably making you eat a normal size. But again, going back to the first conversation we had today, we like oversized things. I always chuckle when I do go to like Wendy's. That's probably the closest to me. So sometimes I got a little burger there. Do you want a single, double, or triple? Small, medium, or large? So I'm like, wait a minute. You got them sized and plus triple meat and all that kind of stuff too? I'm like, small, single, please. Because I don't even need to be eating this burger. Much less I must make it a double, triple, or medium and large. A little bit of moderation when you're being bad. So, and sometimes, what you really need to be doing is eating the kids menu. Eat from the kids menu so you can get the small bites and just be satisfied. Andrew says oil is approaching. I thought that was already 85 from Sunday night, honey child. That already gone up. And everyone says that Trump, we'll talk about Trump maybe tomorrow, because apparently he keeps having these wars on the weekend so that he doesn't impact the stock market as much. That's why he kidnapped Maduro on the weekend. He kicked off this war now that he's saying he doesn't even know when it's going to end with Iran on a weekend, because he thinks he's smart and he's able to play with the markets. We can talk about him another day. Marshall says, yes, you can get the Chick-fil-A sauce at Walmart. There you go. At Chick-fil-A, waffle fries is mainly why I go there. They are good. I'm not going to lie. They, Strong Will says you're obsessed with Amazon. That's what Marlon says too. But I just like that you can pretty much get everything on Amazon. Like if I lived in the States, I would never go to the grocery store. You can grocery shop right on Amazon. Anything you want. In fact, ooh, this picture looks good. In fact, they have a whole food earth section where you can do Indian classics, all kind of food. Everything is Amazon. Got medication. They open a prescription area. You soon be able to order babies off of Amazon. Maybe that's when I'll have another one where I can just put in a baby order. I want an Indian looking baby, so we can pretend like it's from Ireland. Indian looking baby. I want a little boy this time, so I can have one of each. That's it. Healthy. I don't know if you'd be able to specify anything in terms of the DNA. But there you go. Amazon has got everything. That is no word of lie. I actually saw a cutting board that I low-key really, really like. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. It comes in the silver and then this black. But lately I've been doing metal cutting boards. This one is BPA free and food safe tool. It's acrylic. Somebody said they having twins. I can have one of them, but they're twins or they're fibroids. So look at this cutting board. What I like about it is you can put it like on the edge like that. And so it doesn't even look like it's a cutting board. Isn't that nice? And they have it in the black acrylic as well as you can get it in clear. I would probably do the black. Yeah, I'm not too fond of the clear. But anyway, and then you can use it there to cut and to, So it's food grade acrylic material, ultra clear. If you get the clear one, 60% thicker than others at 5 millimeter. Unique lip design, protect your countertop and increase 30% safety or surface hardness, less scratches. Interesting. I love me a good kitchen gadget. OMG. I am the queen of kitchen gadgets. I love. Ooh, this is interesting. Let me have you look at this pattern of dishes. This is Malacasa plates and bowls, porcelain dinnerware, set of 6. But just look at the design of it. I'm not so sure I like it though. Like it's weird. Weird enough to like and weird enough to not like at the same time. But the shape, okay, look at this. Let me tell you what's weird about this. The color is weird, but then the shape of them is also weird. But I like that they're different. Sometimes I like things that are a little bit different. Look at this. So you see how the shape, like the plate itself is like, it's not a proper square. It's kind of like wavy, but then it also has a wavy pattern. What do y'all think? When you sit down and eat your soup, you're eating it out of like a wavy thing. You like that? It's different. Like, this is not something I've ever seen on somebody's kitchen. Look, here it is. That's different, right? I kind of like it. I think it could grow on me. So you get the full set, the little salad table, a salad plate, your mugs, like everything is wavy. Even on the mugs, the handle is wavy as well. Weird. Very strange. Look at the handle. Hold on. I'm going to show you the handle in the mug. I don't know. See how the handle is? Isn't that weird? Huh. I don't know. Somebody says you don't need it. It's interesting. I kind of do need a new set soon, though. Am I the only one who wonders where does it comes in what? Oh, it comes in white. Oh, yeah. I would do the plain white because it's too busy. That pattern within the waviness is like too much for my eyes. But getting it in white, I like the white. I love it. And the white's on sale. Gonna add it to my cart and think about it. Okay. Yes. And then they have it a blue. Ooh, the blue's ugly. Ugh, the blue's too much. No, not the blue. Okay. Anywho, let me close the Amazon tab right this second because I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't. Close it right now. They've got a tumbler set that is also that wavy kind of look. Oh my God, Swerve, Libby Swerve. Is that what we're calling it now? Swerve glasses and stuff? Oh, that is so weird for glasses. But they're cute in a weird kind of way. I feel like I like it. But I don't do glass anymore because they always break. But look at this. The wave. Is that a thing now? Oh my God. Wavy glasses. But am I the only person who has your utensils disappeared in your house? Where do the forks go? I think people are accidentally throwing them out around here. Because what else? Nobody's stealing a fork. Right? You start out with a set of like 8 pieces. Now I'm down to like 3 or 4 for the small appetizer forks. The large forks, I might still have 5 or 6. Knives disappear, spoon. I don't know. They just disappear. Oh, Jerry says, morning, Sandy. I have the same cutting board. So modern and convenient. Oh, I like it. Strong Will says, Auntie, you can get me the black one. Thanks. Strong Will Sand says, Auntie, you're killing me. Frugal spending is what we need, not everything you want. Yeah, boy, especially with Trump. Lord Jesus, we can soon be riding our bicycles. You got to be frugal in different ways. So there's a lot of things that I'm frugal on and that I do not spend money on. And then that allows me to spend money on the things that I want to spend money on. For example, I don't eat out a whole lot, so that saves me money. I eat home. Last night for dinner, I had a salad. Thanks, Miss Stacy. My salad was good. I added my strawberries on top. Oh, you know what? I was thinking we need to get blueberries. Oh, shit, I got to go. Time to go. I got to go. Trying to finish my morning tea. I'm going to start putting blueberries. I love strawberries on my salad, but I'm going to start adding some blueberries to get the goodness, all the nutritional value of blueberries, because blueberries are actually really, really good for you. Eat more blueberries. Eat them every day. How many times do you have a large family gathering or friends that you pull out the cutlery? Well, I eat on them every day because I have a philosophy. Don't save the cutlery till you have people over because then you'll never use it. Yeah. And so life is too short to have cutlery hidden away. So I buy the good stuff and I use it. I use plastic now with the glasses because they're forever breaking. And especially when you have young kids and a dog around the place, you don't need glass all over. Those are nice. I have the dinner plates. Kirk's carries some similar like that. White is nice. Yeah, I think the plain white is much better. They have this one and then they have the swirl in blue, but I think the plain white is just nice. Strong Will says, spend money, one life to live. Strong Will, it's your husband that's doing it? He goes with the fork and then never brings it back? Is he like taking it with his lunch and then forgets to bring it back or what? I don't know, boy, but they're like socks. You know how socks always disappear in the laundry? I swear, these things disappear too. They end up in the trash when you scrape out food. I think that that's what's happening with some people, yeah, that they end up accidentally throwing it away. That's why whenever I have, oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Oh, this is a good picture. Oh, I'm going to use that in our story. Thanks for that, Mr. Architect. Beautiful. I think that whenever you get like takeout food and you use a proper fork, you're more likely to put it in the takeout container and throw everything away. And I think that that's, oh Lord, that's what happens to some people. So whenever I do takeout food, I just use a takeout fork that they've given me a lot of times. But I have a particular friend who shall be named today, Kevin. He look like he can't use a plastic fork. He be coming over here with a takeout container because he love him some curry chicken. And he gonna sit down and eat it with my forks. And I'm like, they just gave you a fork. Why are you using my fork? And now I must turn around and wash the fork or leave it there for poor Miss Stacy to wash. Just use a plastic fork. So I suspect that a lot of times it gets put back in the styrofoam container. You just throw the whole thing out. A small pack of blueberries in the bracket is $15. Lord God, $15.99. Are blueberries something we can grow here in this climate? Not only you, I really have to be wondering where they're disappearing to. I get fed up the other day. The other day of my kids not washing their dishes and packed up everything and left one of each thing in the kitchen. One dish. Oh, Gabby. The poor kids. One dish, one cup, one fork, and one spoon. I refuse to buy disposable. They need to learn. Well, gosh darn it. That is certainly one way of getting them to learn. Oh my God. That is funny. Gigi's not so bad with those things yet. But girl, you got to keep an eye on these kids. And when you have more than one, you don't know who to blame. So your approach probably makes sense. Make them all take responsibility for it. Because they'd be like, that wasn't me, mommy. That wasn't me. And you're like, I don't know who's to blame. So everybody gets punished. That's what they used to do back in the old days. Them old people, boy, they wasn't easy. They're like, oh, yeah? We don't know who broke that dish. Well, guess what? We all broke it then. The person says the government building in Georgetown is about 230,000 square feet in total building space, about 185,000 square feet of office space across 5 floors, about 50,000 square feet basement car park and service areas. So overall, the building is generally described as around 230,000 to 240,000 square feet, depending on how the space is measured or reported. Okay, thank you. The GAB cost about $85.5 million when it was built between 2008 and 2011. To estimate the value in today's money, you adjust for inflation. Oh, this person is so smart. Hey, smarty pants. Adjust for inflation. Construction costs have generally increased about 35 to 45% since 2011. Damn it. That is true. So in 2026 dollars, the equivalent cost would be roughly $115 to $125 million. And like I said, what they bought that building for, they nowhere near do the math and how much it would cost them to build that one Capitol Place. Andrew says assign dishwashing assignment and rotate. If you have more than one, that's a great idea. All right, folks, I got to run. Got an appointment in 15 minutes. I'm doing a little video shoot today. I'll tell you guys a bit about it later on. So I got to go get my hair done. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.